Hey everyone, I had to do a video. I had to get this out. I want to know what your comments or what you think about Senator Kennedy's questions to the FBI agent and the Secret Service agent who is in charge now. Because during the hearing, we heard about, we heard the senator, all the other senators asked them questions, and they were good questions, but Senator Kennedy brought it up. He brought up something that I think we're overlooking, that I haven't heard much about it. Other people may be talking about it, but I have seen no videos talking about the three questions and what Senator Kennedy's talking about. And what Senator Kennedy's talking about and the order of his questions. And then you bring up Marsha Blackburn's questions to go along with it about deleting the emails. So let's play this video of Senator Kennedy in its entirety. I'm going to try not to say anything, but we may replay it again. But leave your comments. I don't know what you think about his questions, and where do you think he's going with his questions? And I'll tell you my opinion at the end.
Mr. Abate, am I saying your name right?
Yes, Senator, thank you.
You are the Deputy Director of the FBI, is that correct?
Yes, Senator.
Is there any doubt in your mind or in the collective mind of the FBI that President Trump was shot in the ear by a bullet fired by the assassin Crooks?
Senator, there is absolutely no doubt in the FBI's mind whether former President Trump was hit with a bullet and wounded in the ear. No doubt, there never has been.
Okay.
I've been part of this investigation since the very beginning, and that has never been raised.
You're sure?
Yes.
It wasn't a space laser.
No.
It wasn't a murder hornet.
Absolutely not.
It wasn't Sasquatch.
No, Senator.
It was a bullet.
It was a bullet, Senator. 100%.
Fired by Crooks.
Yes, sir.
That hit President Trump in the ear and almost killed him.
100%, Senator.
Okay, glad we cleared that up. I don't want to get off the subject here. Did the FBI just settle two lawsuits, one wholly, one in part, in which the FBI agreed to give Peter Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Lisa Page $800,000?
It's my understanding, Senator, that the Department of Justice was involved in that, not the FBI.
The FBI had nothing to do with it?
There may have been consultation with our general counsel's office, but...
Does the FBI have to sign off on it?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't believe so, but I would want to confirm that.
I would like you to, this would be the same Lisa Page who said to Mr. Strzok, quote, Trump's not ever going to become president, right? Right, to which Mr. Strzok said, quote, no, he won't. We will stop it. That's the Peter Strzok and Lisa Page I'm talking about. I need to know if the FBI signed off on this lawsuit.
We will get that answer for you, Senator.
And then I need to know who signed off on it. Did you sign off on it?
I absolutely did not and would never sign off on something.
Did Chris Wray sign off on it, the settlement?
I don't believe he did.
Okay. You don't know what?
Nor do I think he would have.
You need to let me know who signed off on this, if anyone at the FBI. So it was Merrick Garland who agreed to do this, is that right?
Senator, I do not know.
Well, hell, somebody had to agree to it. I've settled a lawsuit before. The client's got to agree to it. You're the client.
Understood. Right. I'm gonna direct in to the Department of Justice to answer those questions.
Get me that information if you would. Mr. Rowe, help me understand this. The assassin Crooks fired his first shot, as I understand it, at 6:12 p.m. He was about 150 yards away. It's been reported that the snipers, the government snipers, saw him on the roof 20 minutes before. not 2 minutes, 20 minutes before. Is that correct?
Senator, that's first time I'm hearing this. That is not correct based on the information I have right now, sir.
Well, when did the FBI snipers see him on the roof?
Just Secret Service snipers, sir. I mean,
I'm sorry, you're right.
That's
Secret
an insult,
Service
sir.
sniper.
No, I'm just kidding.
I understand. I apologize. When did the Secret Service snipers, one of whom ultimately shot the assassin Crooks, first see him on that roof?
So, sir, immediately upon the shots being fired, our snipers.
I know that, but when did they first see him? You got a guy lying on a roof.
Yeah.
You got snipers in an elevated position. They can look down on the roof. You got the guy lying there with a gun pointed at the former president of the United States. And they shot him. Good for them. He's now dead as Woodrow Wilson, and that's a good thing. I'm sorry. God forgive me, but it's a good thing. But when did the snipers first see him?
As soon as he presented himself as a target and a threat to the president, sir.
And when was that?
He fires initially a volley. I believe it was 3 shots.
No, he fired at 6:12 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the first shot.
So within 15.5 seconds of the first shot, he's
here's what
neutralized.
people are asking.
Yes, sir.
He was up. Crooks was up there. The snipers at some point saw him.
Yes, sir.
Our snipers, because they killed him.
Yes, sir.
When did they first see him? It has been reported repeatedly that the snipers first saw him 20 minutes before. That's more than a quarter in an NFL football game.
Yes, sir.
Do you don't know the answer?
So I do know the answer, sir. I'm telling you that.
What is the answer?
No, they did not see him. They only
They never saw him.
No, sir.
Well,
They did not.
how could they not see the guy? How could they not see him? They're in an elevated position. They're checking rooftops. They're looking around.
Yes,
There's 2 government snipers. How could they not see him? There he was, big as Dallas, lying there with a gun pointed at the president. How could they not see him?
I believe he was obscured by that roof, sir. He did not pop up.
The roof is flat with ridges.
He's below the line where they would have seen him, sir. There is he did have concealment. I'm not going to say it's cover. He did have concealment, and then ultimately gets into firing position and fires. And within 15.5 seconds of his first shot, he's neutralized.
All right, I've gone way over. You gentlemen need to answer these questions. Mr. Deputy Director, get me that information about those lawsuits.
What do you guys think about that? His questions. First, what was he asking? Was it a bullet? It wasn't fragments. It wasn't part of the screen or the teleprompter. It wasn't from anything else. It was a bullet. So he had the FBI. The FBI. So a bait. He agreed it's a bullet. And then he went into the Lisa Page and Strzok question, asked them about the money, and read their text. Now that Peter Strzok is one of the persons that I have in my old videos, my past videos, you'll have to go back and watch, where I talk about during that moment, the Spirit of the Lord came over me and was telling me about that's how it happened to him, being Yeshua. It was a setup. That I'm talking about Yeshua being arrested, murdered in his coup. I think Senator Kennedy's saying the quiet thing out loud and we don't see it. So he had the FBI agent confirm it's a bullet. He also had the FBI agent confirm, or with the amount of money, that there are agents in the FBI that hated Trump, that wanted to stop him. So he had 2 things confirmed there. So if you look at this like it was a court case, which we're going to get into that later in future videos that I have set up, how you would do an investigation. I've watched enough of these Datelines and all these things, how investigations work. I know most people may be thinking, oh yeah, you learn it from television. These guys go over stuff in detail, especially the court case part of it and what they needed to do and how they lost the case or won the case, depending on the police investigation. The third question to Secret Service, he wanted to know when they saw him first, because he's putting him in a corner of saying they waited and waited and waited and waited. What were you waiting on? Was it a setup? Was it a conspiracy? And I think we're past it being a theory. You can't be that incompetent. And if you go watch my other videos about NORAD and the Pentagon on 9/11, it's the same exact scenario. So he was able to get the Secret Service guy to admit that they didn't see him until they shot him, which is a lie. We all know it's a lie, and I'll tell you why. Because the second snipers, who was, if you're looking at Trump to the right, the one that supposedly did the shot, they spin around. It's witnesses after witnesses and videos. They were pointing in this direction at the start, and within a few minutes of Trump starting to talk, they spin around. Why'd they spin around? They had to know something was up. And then this was before we got the video where you see supposedly Crooks running across the top of that building. You didn't see that guy running across the top of the building? Really? And at the very least, you may have thought, okay, that's somebody that could be a police officer, that could be undercover, because in the other video, the last one that came out where the guy's recording and they're actually shooting over his head and you can see the police officers running around and all of that. So when the sniper spun around and was shooting over now toward the AGR building where they saw him running, so when the guy was underneath recording it, they're shooting over his head, and you see all the police running around, two guys are dressed almost exactly like Crooks, the shooter. Gray t-shirt and shorts, and they both got guns. So I know that they were in the crowd. They were in, and they had to have been over there where the people were up on that fence, because they sure as heck didn't come running through the fence where you saw the cops trying to break down the gate. And by the way, did that look like Keystone Cops or what? All you had to do was pull that car over one of those posts on the other side. Don't ram the gate. All you had to do is pull that car over one of those posts. It would flatten that fence down, and they could have all went in over ramming the gate. I mean, come on. This thing was chaotic. I get it, but they weren't in place and they weren't in position. But my point is to tell you this: is that they were undercover guys in shorts, t-shirts, dressed very similar to Crooks. And then that's going to go with my video when I explain to you, oh, how could you set up a conspiracy to get away with it? What's about the confusion? So you have these two snipers thinking, well, is that a cop up or running across the building? But it doesn't change the fact when you see people running around and you see all this going on, you know something's up. So what do you got to do? You got to get Donald Trump off that stage, even just for a few minutes, just to check everything out. They didn't. And that's where Senator Kennedy comes in with his questions to the Secret Service. So you didn't see him before. You waited until he started shooting. And even then, it wasn't you who stopped the shooting. It was Secret Service who killed him. But supposedly it was a local cop that shot up through there or somewhere in there to slow him up. And here's another thing. From the very beginning, I've heard the story, and you've heard as well. One cop lifted another cop, or another police officer pulled himself up. Show me the video where that happened. Show me the video where that actually happened. There's videos from the side of the AGR where you see Crooks crawling up the side, and they're looking at him. And the guy, and there's 2 or 3 videos where they're showing this end of the building. There's no one lifting anyone up. There's no one pulling, and buildings like this, that's a 10-foot building plus the pitch, 10, 12-foot building. You're not pulling yourself up from that side. You either have to do it from over where the air conditioning unit is, which there's no video of it. And then you have another video where I can't remember the guy's name now, but the guy that shot the most recent video, and it's all jumbly, but you see the police officers looking around and one standing up on a picnic table and all that. There's no police officers there pulling each other up. So tell me who that was, and tell me where that video is with all the videos that were shot simultaneously through there. It's not there. So this goes along with my part. The other, I want to do two videos separately from this one. One, how you could come up with a conspiracy and get away with it, which they almost did. And two, how a true investigation goes. Because none of those things, the investigation, it's a hack job. I've seen it. You can recognize it because they didn't follow procedure of normal investigations. Now here's another thing. The matter of fact that they're not having daily briefings, and I know we fired Cheadle, or she resigned. Even then, they never had daily briefings. It's no longer a criminal case. There's nothing to hide. He's not sitting in jail and they're having to keep things quiet because it's a criminal investigation or a crime or whatever. No, he's laying there. You said one shooter, he's dead. Now then, we're going to tell you everything that we find out about it. Because from the videos from that same side, I don't see any videos where he's running across that roof. There's no videos of that. They show him coming and crawling up through there. Now, granted, they're zoomed in. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot to break away with. But the main point I wanted to talk about on this one was just that. There was other, either Secret Service, undercover cops somewhere, or some group dressed like crooks, t-shirt, shorts, and come running in there during that side video. Confusion. So that's how you confuse those two snipers on top. You have people come in and dress like him, or have crooks dressed like them, whichever way you want to look like it. But there's more to the story than that. They knew something was up. Why didn't they get Trump off the stage? And everybody's saying that. Why didn't they get off the stage? Why didn't they get him off the stage? Well, they're going to use the confusion. We didn't have the right audio equipment. We couldn't communicate with one another. They were using text signaling and cell phones and stuff. Let me tell you about the cell phone coverage. There's a cell tower sitting right in the heart of that farmland. I can guarantee you, with all the people isolated in that area, plus the normal traffic of what it normal covers, that cell phone tower was overloaded with everyone uploading pictures and videos and searching and all this type of stuff. And this is what you relied on to communicate to one another? Come on now. What say you? Are we past the conspiracy theory? If you can think about what's gone on, even the Kennedy assassination, we know now almost 99.9% that the CIA and the FBI had something to do with it. But Senator Kennedy said the quiet thing out loud in his questions. He got him to agree there was a bullet. He got him to agree that there was someone in the FBI that hated Trump so bad that they were going to stop him. And then you had the Secret Service admit that they didn't see him until they fired the bullet, which is a lie. Because we know, like I was saying before, when Crooks was running across that building, that was 3 or 4 minutes before he started shooting. So you had every opportunity to get him off of that building. Now I'm going to shoot a video. Now I have a plan and a diagram to show you that if I was going to set up a plan, an inside job, and everyone thinks, oh, there's no way it would take too many people, it wouldn't. It wouldn't at all. And I explained that to you in my other video that'll come out. And you'll see. It doesn't take as many people as you think, because you don't have to tell everybody what's going on. All you need to do is have confusion. Same thing with 9/11, NORAD, the planes, them flying around. They didn't know if this was the real test. Was this real, or was this the test going on that day? You caused confusion. So I don't care about the buildings in 9/11 falling. We can discuss that as an engineer. I can discuss that with you. But I wanted to let you know that NORAD and the Pentagon, who had $300 billion budget back then, who they had one job, defend the skies, and they failed at it. No one was fired. No one was relieved of duty. And actually, if you go look at each one of these people who were in charge of these groups, they got promotions. Fact, you can go look them up yourself. What's happening in this scenario here? No one's getting fired. Yes, Cheadle resigned. She should be fired. And also, when I talk to you about how an investigation goes in a separate video, I'll explain to you how she should be held accountable for possible treason actions, because her actions were treasonous. So let me know your comments. Did Senator Kennedy say the quiet thing out loud? I'd like to know what you think. Please leave some comments in there and let me know. I'm just curious what you're thinking about what he said, along with everything else that you know, with COVID, with all the stuff that's going on. The globalists cannot allow Donald Trump to be president again. And I'm just going to throw this out there. Ray, FBI head guy Ray, and the Homeland Security Director and lead, all of these people know they're going to be in trouble if Trump gets in there. And not only that, he's going to disrupt the global market for America, which is what we're supposed to do, is what a president is supposed to be. So when I talk about the Federal Reserve, we all know it's not federal. They do nothing for America. It is a global economy that they're working on, that they're worried about, not the United States American citizen. Because we always ask, oh, why are the feds doing this or that? Because they're not concerned about the American people. It's a global economy now. We need to go back. Ironically, again, Senator Kennedy bringing up dead as Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson's the one that was allowing the Federal Reserve to come in with the 16th Amendment. So that's where we are. So let me know what you think. Tell me your comments. I think he said it out loud. You guys are involved. You can't be this inept. And I can get into the crooks as well, and I'll do that with my video on how it would be done, the conspiracy, and how you get this guy to be a patsy. Well, thanks for watching, and let me know what you think. Again,